Day 173. Winners do not quit. Hebrews chapter 10, verses 35 through 36 says, "Do not therefore fling away your fearless confidence, for it carries a great and glorious compensation of reward. For you have need of steadfast patience and endurance, so that you may perform and fully accomplish the will of God, and thus receive and carry away and enjoy to the full what is promised." Also Galatians chapter 6, verse 9. "And let us not lose heart and grow weary and faint in acting nobly and doing right. For in due time and at the appointed season we shall reap, if we do not loosen and relax our courage and faint." And lastly, Isaiah chapter 40, verse 31. "But those who wait for the Lord, who expect, look for, and hope in him, shall change and renew their strength and power. They shall lift their wings and mount up close to God as eagles, mount up to the sun. They shall run and not be weary. They shall walk and not faint or become tired." One truth that must be settled deeply in your heart is favor does not abandon endurance. Favor is not a shortcut around perseverance. It is the strength that makes perseverance possible. Many people misunderstand endurance. They think endurance is just merely surviving hardships. But biblical endurance is not passive survival. It's active continuation, active forward progress. It's the decision to stay engaged, obedient, and confident even when progress feels slow. Hebrews tells us not to throw away our confidence. That wording is really important. Confidence is not usually taken from us, it is discarded or cast away. People do not lose confidence suddenly. They lose it gradually. One discouragement, another disappointment, unmet expectations upon another. Favor operates where confidence is guarded, protected. Notice what Scripture connects to confidence: a great and glorious compensation of reward. Confidence carries a reward. When confidence is abandoned, reward is delayed, not because God is unwilling, but because endurance has been interrupted. Endurance is required to fully accomplish the will of God. That means quitting early can leave purpose unfinished. Favor does not rush people past that process, it sustains them through it. Galatians reinforces that truth. There's a due time, there's an appointed season. Reaping is certain if courage is not relaxed. That means favor is not fragile. It may appear seasonal, but what God has promised does not evaporate because time passes. It manifests when endurance remains intact. Many believers confuse delay with denial. They assume silence means absence. But Scripture consistently teaches that waiting is active trust, not wasted time. Isaiah tells us that those who wait on the Lord renew their strength. Waiting does not drain strength, it exchanges it. Favor does not weaken endurance, it fuels it. Endurance is not about forcing outcomes. It's about refusing to abandon obedience. It's about continuing to do what God has instructed, even when results are not immediate. Winners are not defined by speed. They're defined by consistency. Favor does not reward impatience. It honors faithfulness. That's why Scripture emphasizes not fainting. Fainting happens internally before it happens externally. People quit their thinking long before they quit their actions. Identity leads to mindsets. Mindsets fuel your faith. Faith shapes your confession. Confession can sustain your discipline. Discipline resists culture. Covenant produces confidence, and confidence requires endurance. Endurance may not be glamorous, but it is powerful. When you refuse to quit, you signal trust in God's timing, in His Word, in His Spirit. You declare that His promises are more reliable than your emotions or your situation or your circumstances. Waiting does not mean standing still. It means standing firm. This is why Scripture uses the imagery of running and walking. Some seasons feel fast, others feel real slow. The endurance carries you through both. If you're in a season where progress feels slow, do not interpret that as failure. Endurance is doing its work. Favor is still actively working. Reward is still attached and coming. You were not called to sprint through life. You were called to finish strong and hear, "Well done, good and faithful servant." Winners do not quit, not because they're stubborn, but because they trust God's promises more than temporary discomfort. Favor stays with those who are faithful, so be that faithful one. Make this confession with me today. I do not throw away my confidence, for it carries a great reward. I endure with patience and accomplish the will of God. I do not grow weary or faint, for my season of reaping is appointed. I wait on the Lord, and my strength is renewed. Favor sustains me through every season. I endure, I remain faithful, and I finish strong. And I am anointed to win, empowered to prosper, and impossible to curse through Jesus Christ.